So this Glenn Beck phenomenon, he's been exploding on Fox. I mean, what do you attribute his success to? And I think he stole that chalkboard idea from us. By the way. That's all right.
You know, when I watch Beck, and you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
Jack Nicholson in his prime.
Yes.
Would have like 6 things going on in his face at the same time. He'd be,
Yes.
Just be eyebrows going. I mean, just there's so much animation, so much thought of a kind going through Nicholson that when I see Beck and it's just all the little quirks and head moves and stuff, I mean, he's terribly entertaining. Again, a lesson. Plenty of other people give the libertarian conservative line.
Right.
But
they don't move numbers like that.
Nobody's as entertaining as Beck is. So that's just a lesson about the entertainment, showmanship, alpha quality of all this.
He still, to me, in my mind, having done radio and TV, he was able to take radio and put it on TV. He's still very radio on TV. You know what I mean? That Howard Stern kind of quality, that theater of the mind, that stoking it up, that entertainment value, no dead air, you know, versus the, hey, I just got to look great.
Right. And he's also well produced in the sense of he gets inside issues. I mean,
yes.
I mean, it's not just sort of, you know, moving to the clouds kind of stuff. It is in the dirt on the banjos and I mean, he had like the libertarian candidate for president,
right?
Root, I think his name
was,
like for an hour. I mean, if I remember this right, and this is during the election. I mean, this is not like this guy's about to win, but rather than hearing McCain or Obama or their press person just say what you know they're going to say, get somebody who is as engaged in the politics, at least the ideas of the time, as anybody. Okay, he's not going to be president, so what? But he's going to say interesting, provocative things and take you inside the movement of libertarians, which is, again, as I said, has a huge, this is what the left libertarians who you know, they voted for Obama.
Right.
But if you go to them and say, look, which is more important to you, gay marriage and abortion and a general freedom of lifestyle, or you know, or help for the workers, they'll obviously say, you know, the former, not the latter. And they're not really liberals. They're kind of libertarians who have a kind of a liberal act.
Exactly.
That makes them sort of feel good and makes them feel morally superior.
Yeah.
Just because they're worried about the polar bears and you're not.
Right.
But I agree with you. What they really care about is sort of their own sense of worldview and their own freedom of action, so that nobody's criticizing them as they do whatever they do in Silicon Valley or San Francisco or wherever.
Exactly. Well, and what Beck, I think the other two things, I mean, what you, like you said, breaks down the issue. I mean, using the chalkboard, I mean, I've been doing this stuff for years in the Ask the Super Genius series and stuff. It's taking complex issues and putting up 5, 6 bullet points that are very simple that everybody can glom onto, and then you see it and you see how it relates. It's like, oh, I get that now. Rather than just Charlie Rose sitting around the table, talk.
Right. No, visuals, and again, on the healthcare thing, we should come back on that. Because that's exactly what we need. We should come back on the healthcare thing with the chalkboard, because that would be a lot of fun.
I would love to do that. Done.
Okay, so
you name the date, and I'm there.
Okay, great. So there's that, but that's right. It's, look, why are PowerPoints so effective?
Exactly.
Or I'm a Mac person, keynotes.
Yeah.
I mean, because
I live on PowerPoint.
Pictures work.
Absolutely.
You know, so don't neglect that. And so back, you know, I mean, you still remember Tim Russert and the whiteboard from whatever that was, 04? Maybe?
Yeah,
you know.
He did that. Yeah, and Rove uses it.
Yeah, Rove. I mean, it's valuable. Why not? Why doesn't everybody do it? I don't know.
And then his set. I mean, the production. Again, it's bright. It looks good. Everything like that. But O'Reilly, I love him, but he bugs me. I don't like his little "I'm an independent" act. You know what I mean? Okay, because he wants to get Obama on the show. Because he wants to. It's all. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about Bill. And I'm saying that. You don't need to say that. I understand you're on Fox. I am saying that. And I like, but what he, but
la.
when Bill is at, let's see if you agree with this. When Bill is at his best, at least from our side, is when Overman or someone's poked him in the eye, and now he's got to fight back or do investigative journalism. He still does great investigative journalism and sends, you know, Jesse Waters and those guys out there to get some stuff. And that's when
Jesse Waters is a genius.
Yes.
And he's got clankers.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say.
Yes.
And no, I mean, right. O'Reilly on General Electric in Iran and so on has been terrific. No, O'Reilly has a sense of theater and showmanship, and I remember This is like a random, years and years ago, it was about a partial birth abortion.
Yes.
And there's a nurse that, you know, like I'll garble the story horribly, and the only thing I really remember is how O'Reilly handled it. Was like the nurse said, well, you know, so the fetus came out and it was alive, and then it died. And O'Reilly just let it sit there. He didn't, he just let it hang there for a little while. Again, back to taboos. You just, you know, there's a reason why the right-fighters are winning, because
he didn't step on the story.
He didn't step on the story. He just let it go, and that was just a degree of pulling back, of letting this thing speak for itself. That obviously 10 years later still registers on me.
Absolutely.
Hey, real quick break. Is this noise outside gonna bother you?
No,
Okay.
fine. Don't worry about that. I think that's right. So who do you think is who else do you think is coming up right now? Who do you think is hot, and who do you think is kind of done?
I mean, you know, I think the whole conservative movement is on an upsurge, just because who's leading the charge against Obama?
Right.
It's the media. It's, you know, I mean, cable news has kind of conquered politics, right? I mean, in other words, it's you know, the people, it's the stars on big guns on Fox, plus, you know, the radio talkers and so on, who are the ones who are, they're much better known than John Boehner and Mitch McConnell.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you know, by the same token, Keith Olbermann was a lot people are more aware of him than, you know, Harry Reid and most Democrats in Congress. It's just sort of, the media now is very, these are political shows, and they've sort of distilled politics down to, we're not going to waste time raising money, we're not going to waste time legislating, we're just going to get on and deliver a message. Now, remember, these guys usually have a radio show as well as a TV show.
Exactly.
So they're on 3 or 4 hours a day, either talking or you know, or communicating in some fashion.
Influencing people.
And that's all they do.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's had an effect of sort of, you know, to some extent polarizing, you know, our politics, you know, right and left, which is in the end not good. But it's just, it's just the way things work. I mean, you know, until some president or politician comes along with a popular centrist message, this is where we're going to be.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, I was thinking about running for Congress out in California this time, and I've been, you know, a political animal like you know, all my life. CD11, so McNerney.
Okay.
Yeah, Tauscher's,
Right.
well, before they redistricted, and now Tauscher did it, you know, now that's 10, but, and, you know, I looked at that and I'm like, well, if you win, first of all, it's really hard to win. Second, if you win, you get 160, which is, you know, okay. I mean, it's not bad, you know, I mean, it's like, and then if you make more than that, then you're probably doing it in a corrupt way and whatnot like that, and that'd be another cog in the wheel. Or I could try to be, you know, climb the ladder and Michelle Malkin and Ann Coulter and, you know, maybe some say Hannity, and like, who really has the power?
Exactly.
And I think now you see some politicians try to get in the act like this Joe Wilson guy. What do you make of that? I mean, you know,
I mean, you know,
I'm conflicted.
I mean, look, you should never be rude.
Right.
That's, I mean, my mother taught me that, and but he is going to become a figure in the surface circle.
People want, I think that our side, the roots, the Tea Party, this is what all this movement is about. I mean, you know, there are some that have, Michelle Malkin, Rush Limbaugh, and others have said, like the California Republican Party they more or less called them corrupt, if I read that right or whatnot. There's people that are frustrated with, you know, every so often Rush will get into a fight with either, you know, Steele or someone in the party, because it just seems like they're just not responsive. They don't want to take the fight. McCain wants to be best friends with the Democrats sometimes, and I think that the grassroots conservative voter out there wants to see someone harsh and take the, you know, they want to see our side actually fight for our values and not be sellouts. You see what I'm saying?
I do. I think that's right. I think that's. I think that's. There's a cycle in presidential politics, whereas when the in-party loses, like Republicans in 2008, the in-party lost. Okay. Then what happens is the grassroots are sort of liberated, if you will, from sort of establishment control. There are no, you know, Michael Mukasey's and Hank Paulson, sort of older figures to sort of put a restraining factor on things. And so the grassroots sort of loom large. And the problem, so in other words, like after the Republicans lost in 1960,
Right.
the establishment was discredited, they lost. So we got Goldwater. And after the Democrats lost in 68, their grassroots took over as McGovern.
Right.
So you go down the list, I'm saying, okay, when you lose, your activists are no longer restrained, and they just simply, do their thing. And the problem with that, usually it produces a candidate who then loses themselves 4 years later. Goldwater in 64, McGovern in 72. And so if the Republicans run Sarah Palin in 2012, we're going to have a hard time winning.
So you don't think she can win?
I didn't say can't win. I said have a
Hard time winning.
Right.
What do you think about Sarah Palin in general?
I kind of like her.
She's pretty hot. I'm unmarried, I can say that.